Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with the Ames Police Department. My guest today is Commander Jeff Huff with the Ames Police Department. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's been a while since you and I have had time to sit down and talk because things have been very busy at the Ames Police Department.
It's been a busy time. We've had a remodel that we just got through, which took a little bit of time, and we've got everybody moved back in finally, and we've got our drug drop box back out in the public lobby, which has been a big hit. But as always, this time of year it gets busy. We've got students returning, and we've got a whole new group of scams that are coming out.
So scams are always a big deal early any time of the year, but it seems like we've had an increase recently.
Yeah, it's just so easy to scam people now. There's the internet, you've got your phone, there's just so many different ways that people can try and figure out a way to scam you out of some of your money. And so we're cautioning people, just like when you think something sounds too good to be true, if you get contacted by somebody saying you owe them money or you're going to be arrested or anything like that, it's time to be careful.
That doesn't sound too good to be true.
Well, it's that same sort of thing though. If something sounds too good to be true, you should probably stop and really think about what you're doing. In these cases, they're really trying to put pressure on you and make quick decisions so that you don't have time to think, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. And so most of these scams, that's what they're doing, is they're putting extreme pressure on you, usually to pay them money to get out of something, whether that be arrested or a fine or something.
And I think one of the things that always should sort of raise the yellow flag is when they contact you.
Right. And most of these scams, that's what's happening, is they're probably using some kind of computer program that will just randomly dial numbers, and if they can get a hold of you, they're going to start putting that pressure on. We've seen all kinds of scams. IRS is one of the scams where they'll say they're from the IRS and you owe money, and if you don't pay it right away, the police are going to come arrest you. You have a warrant for your arrest, but you can get out of it if you pay a certain amount of money. Kind of one of the red flags is the types of payment that they want. So they're going to want you to send them money immediately. They don't want a check in the mail, anything that could be canceled. So they want you to go to a local convenience store and get a green dot card or some other sort of prepaid card that acts much like cash. And once that transaction is complete and you've given them the number, the money's gone, and it's really unlikely that we would be able to even assist you in getting it back.
So when people are referencing legitimate organizations like the IRS, or they say that they are the City of Ames Utility Billing Department, those are easy ones to say, let me call you back.
Right. And that's one of the things we tell you. If you get a call that says you owe money or whatever, say, that's fine, I'll call you back. You then find the correct number, especially credit card numbers. Credit card company phone numbers are usually on the back of your credit card. So if you get a call that says they're from your credit card company, you can look on the back and you can call them back using the number that's on the back of the card, and that's a good way to do it. Or any other business, they're going to advertise online, find the correct number, you call them back, tell them the information, and in most of these cases, they've been scams. Because most companies don't contact you like that.
And certainly you don't want to be repeating your credit card number to somebody who calls you to talk to you about a credit card issue.
If you give your credit card number over the phone, it's pretty easy to rip you off at that point.
Unless you've initiated the call.
Right. There are obviously businesses do legitimately contact you, but usually they're not trying to put you under pressure to pay something right away. So anytime you feel pressured, that's when you need to take a break, stop that phone call, and call them back and find out what's really going on.
Yeah. Are there other scams that are particular to students at this time of year?
Yeah, it seems that our students have been targeted with a couple of these scams. There was a tuition scam where they said that you owed tuition money and it was unpaid, and they were going to send the FBI to pick you up or the local police department to pick you up if you didn't pay it right away. And again, it's that extreme pressure that they put you under, that you could be arrested if you don't act right away. And in that case, they didn't want the person, the people in this case, to go to a local convenience store, get one of those prepaid cash cards, give them the number and the PIN on the back. And again, it's like a cash transaction at that point. Very difficult for us to follow up on.
So I know that we get a lot of, the Ames Police gets notified a lot of these scams. People will say, I received this email or I got this phone call and I didn't do anything, but I just wanted you to know. There really isn't much that you can do at that point, is there?
Right. Technically, you're not a victim until you've lost something. So whether you've given money or personal information. So if none of those things have happened, you caught the scam before you got too far into it, you hang up on the person, you can certainly let us know about it, because we like to let other people know that the scam's coming. But if you've given personal information, or if you've been the victim by giving cash or that number or whatever, definitely give us a call so we can initiate a case on it, and we might be able to help stop some of it from getting to the worst parts of being scammed.
Yeah, a lot of people, once the money's gone, like you said, it's gone. You don't recover from these, and they're very difficult to track down.
Very. Even the resources of the FBI, they won't take a case unless there's a very, very large loss, because there's so much of this going on. So we're working on right now a better way to be able to report the scams where you're technically not a victim, because we want to get that information out both on the City of Ames Facebook page and the police Facebook page. That's a good place for us to advertise some of these scams. And generally when they happen, it's a lot of it. So the problem is our dispatch center can be inundated with 50 calls in a couple of hours for people that are getting scammed. It's tough for them when we're trying to do regular business at the same time.
So do you ask people to forward you the scam emails, or is that even helpful?
In some cases, we've had people send us an email. They've sent it to my email before, or sometimes they'll use Facebook and send us a message with a screenshot of an email, because we can then use that to warn other people. This is the scam. This is what it looks like. If you get this, don't click on the links. Don't respond. And that brings up another good point, this new text message kind of scam, where you get a text message saying your credit card's been locked or your debit card's been locked. Click on this link to to fix the problem or whatever. And at that point, once you click on the link, it's going to take you somewhere you don't want to be, and they're going to try and steal your personal information.
Oh, that's a pretty serious one.
Yes. So if you get a text message from an unknown sender asking you to click on a link, probably not a good idea to do that.
So let's talk about those. So those are very much internet-based, but I mean, you still see the phone scams. You still hear people who saved messages on there if they still have an old answering machine.
Right.
Is that at all helpful?
It can be. Again, it's really hard to track these down. Most of the numbers that you're getting called from, they're usually some kind of internet-based number that are very disposable. So they'll use it until it's burnt, and then they'll try another number. They'll also spoof a phone number. We've had our number spoofed, our non-emergency phone number spoofed.
And just explain it when it's spoofed.
It will come up and look as though it's our phone number, but it's not really our phone number.
So you'll get a call. It'll look like it comes from Ames Police Dispatch.
And then they say,
and that's on your caller ID.
Exactly.
But you're not really calling.
No, and we don't call people to say you have a warrant for your arrest or you owe money or whatever. We don't do that. We don't do collections. So if you get one of those calls, it's probably not us. And we generally leave messages. So if you get a missed call from that 239-5133 number, we will generally leave a number. If we need to get a hold of you, we want to get a hold of you, so we're not going to not leave a message for you to call us back.
Yeah. Well, some good tips for people to avoid as they get into the school year. In general, I've seen we have some new elementary schools. We have a new traffic patterns establishing, a lot of construction projects going on. Just in general, overall, how did the start of the school year go?
Things went pretty well. Construction's been problematic. The weather has not cooperated with anybody, this fall. And so a lot of those projects are behind. We were hoping things would be done before school started, and they just weren't. But people are coping with it pretty well. There's definitely places to avoid, and we've been getting that out on the air in the morning in our traffic report. And we try and keep people updated both on the City of Ames Facebook and the police Facebook pages and Twitter pages to try and keep you from getting stuck in traffic as much as possible. But it's really difficult right now to get around. There's no doubt about it.
So an interesting, I think, traffic calming tool that I've noticed recently are these speed feedback signs that we see.
Right. Public Works has access to some new signs. They're interactive. So they will show you your actual speed. They use radar technology, so they're going to show you your speed. If you're going too fast, they might give you a blinking light, or the numbers may blink if you're going too fast. Those are some traffic calming techniques. We've got a permanent one up on Hayes Avenue up at the high school. There's also one down on Jewel, and that's a more permanent sign. We also have some that we can spread around a little bit. They're pretty easy to put up and take down, and they can go in more places than our speed trailer. The speed trailer takes up some space, and so it's not appropriate for every place. But these we can put in a lot of different locations. So if we're having trouble with speed in certain locations, we can put these signs up, and hopefully those will help. They also do some data collection for Public Works, so they can collect, the average speed that goes through there, how many cars, things like that. So Public Works can have that information, so they know what other steps we could possibly take.
And these are feedback signs. These are for self-correction. These are not, you mentioned some people thought they were cameras.
Yeah, the one on Hayes, the light flashes when you're going too fast, and we had a couple of calls from people that thought they were taking pictures. And we don't do photo enforcement here in Ames, so it's not that. It's to get your attention, to get you to slow down. So self-correction, exactly.
Yeah, well, it was interesting to see those, and anecdotally, I do believe they have an effect. You definitely see people slowing down and trying to make sure that they are under that speed limit.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for. We want voluntary compliance with the traffic laws. And we've already gotten a couple of calls actually from people that live on Hayes that said that they've noticed a difference with it. So we think that they're working well. So that's good.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, a lot of construction wrapping up. So we're getting off to a busy year.
Yes, we are. We're looking forward to some of the construction coming to a close just like everybody else, and we'll have some nice new roads to put snow on soon.
There's a thought for the future. Well, Jeff, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks.
Well, again, if you want information about scams or anything else that is very timely happening in the City of Ames, don't forget that we have City of Ames and Ames Police on Facebook. You can get very up-to-date, accurate information on those. If not, please remember you can always check our City of Ames website. That's cityofames.org for the most up-to-date and recent information. Some things for your calendar as we get into September. Please mark Saturday, September 19th for the Resource Recovery 40th anniversary. There'll be an open house from 10 a.m. to noon with more details to come. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.